Be me, 29. Junior partner at a boutique architecture firm in Chicago. Obsessive about lines, structures, load-bearing walls. Life is a blueprint. If you follow the specs, the building stands. If you improvise, it collapses. That was my philosophy. Dating Elena for 4 years. 27. Pediatric nurse. Soft edges where I was sharp angles. Chaotic in a way that made sense. She'd leave bobby pins on my pristine drafting table. I'd complain, but secretly I'd leave them there for days just to look at them. She smelled like vanilla and antiseptic. We met in a coffee shop. I was sketching a cornice detail. She spilled a latte on my notebook. Ruined 3 hours of work. She looked so horrified, eyes wide, offering to buy me a new sketchbook. I looked at her and forgot to be angry. 4 years of stability, Sunday markets. She watched terrible reality TV while I worked on CAD models. She was the variable I didn't account for, but the one I needed. The structural dampener to my rigidity. Then came the promotion. Senior associate. More money. More pressure. Felt like I was drowning in imposter syndrome. Late nights at the office. Started listening to podcasts to stay awake. Algorithm fed me the Apex Protocol. Hosted by Julian Vane. Former hedge fund manager turned lifestyle architect. Voice like gravel and expensive scotch. He didn't talk about stocks. He talked about sovereignty. A man is an island, Vane would say. If you lean on others, you are structurally unsound. Women don't want a partner. They want a mountain. Unmovable. Cold. Dangerous. I listened while staring at the skyline. It made sense. I was stressed because I cared too much. Because I sought validation from Elena. Vane said validation is for the weak. Detach, he said. Become the observer. If she asks where you are, you don't answer. Mystery creates desire. If she cries, you don't comfort. You stand firm. Emotional resonance is submission. It wormed into my brain like dry rot. Subtle at first. Elena would text, hey, picking up dinner, Thai or Mexican. Old me, Mexican sounds great, love you. New me, infected by Vane, doesn't matter. She'd bring Thai. I'd eat in silence. She asked if I was okay. I'm focusing, I said. Vane called this the gray fog. Be present physically, absent mentally. Make her work for your attention. Make her earn the sunlight. One night she came home after a 12-hour shift. Lost a patient. A kid. She was shaking. Sat on the couch, tears soaking her scrubs. I just need you to hold me, she whispered. Instinct was to wrap her up. To be the blanket. Vane's voice echoed in my earbuds. She is testing your frame. If you crumble into her emotion, you become her girlfriend. Offer a solution or offer nothing. Do not offer a shoulder. So I sat in the armchair across from her. Sipping water. Did you follow protocol? I asked. She looked up, eyes red, confused. What? At the hospital. Did you follow the medical protocol? Yes, but... He died, Mark. I held his hand while he died. Then you did your job, I said, voice flat. Emotion is inefficient. It won't bring him back. She stared at me, like she didn't recognize the face she'd kissed for 4 years. I don't need logic right now, she said, voice trembling. I need my boyfriend. I'm right here, I said. Being rational for both of us. She stood up, walked to the bedroom, closed the door. I felt a surge of pride. Vane was right. I hadn't let her chaos destabilize my order. I was the mountain. Joined Vane's premium mastermind group. $500 a month. The architects, men sharing war stories of holding frame, calling their wives operatives or liabilities. One guy, Ironclad 33, posted stop saying I love you back. She's panicked. Sex has never been better. She's chasing me again. I read it and nodded. Elena wasn't chasing though. She was quieting. The bobby pins disappeared from my table. The text stopped coming during the day. I told the group. Vane replied personally. She's pulling away to see if you'll pursue. It's a bluff. Double down. Initiate the vacuum. Remove all non-essential contact. Be a ghost in your own home. So I did. Stopped eating dinner with her. Stayed at the office until 9 p.m. Then went to the gym until 11. Came home, showered, slept in the guest room. Back hurts. I lied. Better mattress in there. 3 weeks of this, she didn't fight. She didn't scream. She just existed. Made coffee in the morning. Left a cup for me, but she stopped looking me in the eye. I thought I was winning. I thought this was submission. She was learning that I was the prize. Then came her birthday. Usually I'd plan a weekend away. Cabin in Michigan, wine tasting. Vane's podcast episode 402, The Gift of Absence. Reward bad behavior and you get more of it. She has been distant. Why reward her? Give her something practical. Something that says I acknowledge your existence, but I do not worship it. I bought her a high-end vacuum cleaner. Dyson, top of the line. Wrapped it in brown paper. No card. She opened it at breakfast. Stared at the box. A vacuum, she said. It's efficient, I said. Checking emails on my phone. Your old one was clogging. She didn't cry. She didn't throw it. She smiled. A smile that didn't reach her eyes, like a crack in a windshield. Thank you, Mark. It's very practical. She went to work. I posted in the group chat. Gave the asset a vacuum. She accepted it. Frame maintained. Ironclad 3-3 replied. King she. A week later, we were at a gala for my firm. Black tie. She wore a green dress, backless. She looked stunning. Men were turning heads. A client, older guy, wealthy, charmed her. Laughing at her jokes, touching her arm lightly. Old me would have walked over, put a hand on her waist, marked territory. Vane's voice, jealousy is beta. Let her see you don't care. Flirt with someone else. Show her she is replaceable. I turned my back on her, started chatting up a female intern, laughing too loud. Glancing over to see if Elena was watching. She wasn't. She was talking to the client. Looking calm, looking free. We drove home in silence. You seem to have fun, I said, dripping with sarcasm. I did, she said softly. He asked me about my day. He listened. He wanted to sleep with you, Elena. Don't be naive. Maybe, she said, looking out the window. But for 5 minutes, I felt like a person again, not a ghost haunting your apartment. You're being dramatic. And you're being cruel, Mark. I don't know who you're listening to or what game you're playing, but I'm tired. Tired of what? Improvement? I'm building a future. I'm building an empire. You're building a fortress, she whispered. And you locked yourself inside, I sneered. Weakness, I muttered. She didn't respond. 2 days later, I came home early, wanted to initiate phase 3, the benevolent king. Reward her with a dinner date now that she'd been humbled. Apartment was quiet, too quiet. Walked to the bedroom. Closet doors open. Her side was empty. No clothes, no shoes, no bobby pins on the nightstand, no vanilla scent, just the smell of cleaning fluid. On the bed, the Dyson vacuum. Unboxed. Assembled. With a note taped to the handle. I picked it up. You wanted a clean house. You wanted efficiency. You wanted no mess, no emotions, no complications. You got it. I'm gone. Don't look for me. I'm not a variable in your equation anymore. P.S. The vacuum works great. It sucked up everything, even us. I stood there, note in hand, expected anger, expected panic. Instead, Vane's voice triggered automatically. She left. Good? The weak filter themselves out. Now you have total sovereignty. I laughed. Actually laughed. Good, I said to the empty room. Good! I ordered a pizza. Ate it alone, watched a movie, felt powerful, unburdened. No one to ask how my day was. No one to annoy me with reality TV. Just me and the architecture. A week passed. The silence started to get heavy. Not the gray fog silence I controlled. Real silence. The kind that rings in your ears. I went to the mastermind group. She left. How to leverage this for growth. Responses were instant. Go to the gym. Spin plates. Her loss. She'll be back in a month begging. I hit the gym, lifted until my muscles tore. Came home to the dark apartment, reached for my phone to text her. Stopped. Do not chase. Put the phone down. Month 2. No contact. I saw a picture of her on Instagram. Mutual friend posted it. She was at a vineyard, smiling, real smile, eyes crinkled. She looked healthier, brighter, not begging, not suffering. I felt a crack in the foundation. Just a hairline fracture. I decided to go to a summit Vane was hosting in Miami. $3,000 ticket. Need to recharge the mindset. Arrived at the hotel. Ballroom full of men in fitted suits. Everyone looking serious. Everyone holding frame. Vane walked out. Smaller than he looked on video. Wearing sunglasses indoors. He gave a speech about the biological imperative of dominance. Crowd cheered. Later at the VIP mixer. I paid extra to meet him. Walked up to Vane. Julian, I said, Mark, from the Chicago chapter. Your advice changed my life. He looked at me swirling a vodka tonic, eyes glazed. Great, man. Keep crushing it. My girl left, I said. Followed the protocol. She left. Vane laughed. A nasty, wet sound. They always leave, brother. That's the point. Then you get a new one. Younger. Dumber. He leaned in, smelling of booze and desperation. Between us? My third wife just served me papers. Taken half my liquid assets. Bitches, right? He winked, then stumbled away to talk to a 20-year-old waitress. I stood there, watching the architect of will stumble drunk, a man who had been married 3 times, who preached sovereignty but was drowning in alimony and bitterness. The crack in my foundation widened. It wasn't a hairline fracture anymore. The whole load-bearing wall gave way. I left the summit, didn't pack, just drove to the airport, flew back to Chicago, landed at 4 a.m., drove to our old apartment. It felt like a tomb. I walked into the bathroom, looked at the mirror, saw a man who was fit, successful, wealthy, and completely, utterly hollow. I had become the island, and the island was desolate. I found her number. Handshaken, dialed, straight to voicemail. You've reached Elena. Leave a message. Her voice sounded so warm. I hung up, called again. Voicemail. Elena, I said, voice cracking. Elena, it's Mark. I met the guy from the podcast. He's a fraud. I'm an idiot. I treated you like a project, like a dog to be trained. I'm sorry. Please, just coffee. Let me explain. I sent texts. Paragraphs, the kind Vane mocked. Vomit of the soul, he called it. I didn't care. I waited. 3 days later, a text back. Meet me at the park. 2 p.m. Sunday. I arrived at 1:30, wore a suit, then took off the tie, then rolled up the sleeves, trying to look casual, trying to look like the old Mark. She walked up, wearing a simple coat, hair tied back. She didn't hug me. Sat on the other end of the bench. I listened to your voicemail, she said. I meant it. I rushed out. All of it. I fell down a rabbit hole, Elena. Stress at work. Insecurity. I let this toxic voice into my head. It wasn't me. She looked at the ducks on the pond. It was you, Mark. That's the problem. No, it was the influence. It was Vane. I'm done with that. I canceled the membership. I unsubscribed. She turned to me. Eyes sad but clear. You didn't buy a vacuum because a podcast told you to. You bought it because part of you believed I didn't deserve kindness, that I needed to be managed. I was wrong. I see that now. I know you do, she said, but you broke something that can't be fixed with an apology tour. I can rebuild it, I said. I'm an architect. That's what I do. She smiled, and it broke my heart. You build walls, Mark. You don't build homes. I met someone, she said softly. The world stopped spinning. Already? It's been 3 months. He's a teacher, she said. He's not rich. He's not an alpha. He drives a Honda. When I told him about my bad day, he didn't give me a lecture on stoicism. He made me tea. He's simple, and I feel safe. I can be safe, I pleaded. I can be that guy. She stood up, brushed a leaf off her coat. You were that guy, Mark, 4 years ago. But you killed him. You suffocated him to be superior. I hope you find whatever it is you're looking for. Truly. She started walking away. Elena, I called out. She didn't turn back. She kept walking, into the city, into a life that didn't include me. I sat on the bench until the sun went down. Cold wind off the lake. Phone buzzed in my pocket. Notification from the Mastermind app I hadn't deleted yet. Ironclad 3-3. Women act on emotion. Logic is your shield. Never let them see you bleed. I looked at the screen, threw the phone into the duck pond, watched it sink, walked back to my apartment. It was perfectly clean. The Dyson was in the corner, standing like a sentinel. I kicked it hard, broke my toe, fell to the floor, clutching my foot, laughing, crying. The pain was the only real thing I'd felt in 6 months. Be me, 30 now, still an architect, still rich. My apartment is a masterpiece of modern design. Every line perfect, every surface polished. I come home every night to silence. Sometimes I buy bobby pins and leave them on the counter, just to pretend. But the building is empty, and I am a king of nothing. The island is sovereign, and I am drowning.